Before starting off with the explanation of the chapter, let us have a look into the important expressions used in the text. Keep body and soul together means to survive. Plots along the road means to go along the way in a very slow manner. Impenetrable prison means the prison from which you cannot pass. Eased his way to move unnoticed. Things have gone downhill means decrease in fortune or to become an unfortunate person. Hunger gleamed in his eyes, that means he was a very hungry fellow. Unwanted, UNWONTED, unwanted joy means unaccustomed. He was not at all accustomed to joy. Nodded a haughty consent, it means giving approval in a proud manner. Fallen into a line of thought, it means to start thinking deeply or in a philosophical manner. Now we'll begin with the explanation of the chapter. Once there was a man who went around selling rat traps of wire. He made them himself, but his business was not profitable. So he had to beg and steal a bit to keep himself alive. His clothes were in rags. Rags means the torn clothes. His cheeks were sunken because of hunger, and hunger could be noticed in his eyes. His life was sad and monotonous. Monotonous means repetitive. He had no company. One day, he was struck by an idea that the whole world was nothing but a big rat trap. Metaphorically, the writer has very beautifully made this particular comparison between the rat trap and the world. It sets baits for the people by offering riches and joys, shelter and food, heat and clothing, exactly as the rat trap offered cheese and pork. In other words, the world offers the poor the temptations of the riches, the joys, and these poor people taken into temptations, and in order to fulfill all their desires, they can stoop down to any level. They can even commit murder, they can even commit robbery. As soon as anyone let himself be tempted to touch the bait, the rat trap closed is on him, and then everything comes to an end. One dark evening he was walking along with heavy steps when he saw a little grey cottage by the roadside. He knocked at the door to ask shelter for the night. The owner was an old man. He had no wife or no child. He was happy to get someone to talk to in his loneliness. He served him porridge for supper. Now, what is the supper? Supper is the last day of the meal, and gave him tobacco for his pipe. Then he got out an old pack of cards and played Majolis with his guest till bedtime. Majolis is a game of cards. The host had been a crofter at Ramsdow Ironworks in his days of prosperity. He had worked on the land. Now he was unable to do any day labor. It was his cow that supported him. This extraordinary cow could give him milk for the creamery every day. That means he used to sell the milk and he used to earn money. This is how he was able to survive. He informed the stranger that last month he had received all of 30 krona. Krona is the Swedish currency in payment. The crofter showed his guest 3 wrinkled 10 kronas bills, which he had taken out of a leather pouch hanging on a nail in the window frame. So here we come across 2 characters. One is the peddler. He's a vagabond. He travels from one place to another as he does not have any permanent house to reside. And second one, the house that he sees in order to take shelter, and he is a crofter. Now the house of the crofter, or rather the crofter himself, offers the bait to this peddler by showing him the 10 krona notes. It is this vagabond, this poor peddler, who is in requisite of money, and this krona notes is a sort of a bait, is a sort of the temptation. The next day, both men got up early. The crofter was in a hurry to milk his cow. The other man did not want to stay in bed when his host had got up. They left the cottage at the same time. The crofter locked the door and put the key in his pocket. The man with the rat trap said goodbye and thanked his host and went away. Half an hour later, the rat trap peddler returned. Now, see what was the intention of this rat trap peddler. Let us see. I had already told you the crofter had offered him a bait, the temptation of 30 kroners. He broke a window pane, stuck in his hand, and got hold of the pouch with the 30 kroners. He took out the money and thrust it into his pocket. Then he hung the leather pouch very carefully back in its place and went away. This was what the peddler had paid the crofter for showing generosity and kindness. He felt pleased with his smartness. Then he realized that he dared not continue on the public highway. Why? Because the highway, the people would be walking, the vehicles would be moving to and fro. And if at all, if the crofter comes to know about the robbery, he might be on the outlook for this particular peddler. So he had to hide himself. So he took to the woods. Woods means to the forest. He got into a big and confusing forest. This was the first time that he had entered the forest. And the forest was like a maze. Maze means you do not know. You have entered that particular forest, but you do not know the way out. He kept on walking without coming to the end of the forest. He realized that he had only been walking around in the same part of the forest. He thought that he had left himself to be fooled by a bait and had been caught. Now, what was this bait? This bait was the jungle, the forest, whom he thought that he would be able to get out of this forest, but he was not able to get out. He thought that he had let himself be fooled by a bait and had been caught. The whole forest seemed to him like an impenetrable prison from which he could not escape. It was late in December. Darkness increased, the danger as also his gloom and despair, because he was not able to get out of the forest. He became very disappointed. He became very hopeless. He sank down on the ground as he was quite tired. He heard the sound of a hammer strokes. He summoned all his strength, got up and staggered. Staggered means walked in a very tired manner, falling every now and then in the direction of the sound. He reached a forge where the master smith and his helper sat near the furnace, waiting for the pig iron to be ready to put on the anvil. Now, what is the pig iron? My dear students, the pig iron, it refers to the iron extracted from the mines. The blacksmiths glanced only casually and indifferently at the intruder with a long beard, dirty, ragged, and with a bunch of rat traps dangling on his chest. He reached a forge where the master smith and his helper sat near the furnace, waiting for the pig iron to be ready to put on the anvil, because it was a plant. It was an iron mill. There were many sounds. Big bellows groaned, burning coal cracked, the fire boy shoveled charcoal with a great deal of clatter, the waterfall roared. A sharp north wind whipped the rain against the brick tiled roof. On account of all these noises, the blacksmith did not notice that a man had opened the gate and entered the forge until the stranger stood close up to the furnace. The blacksmith glanced only casually and indifferently at the intruder. With a long beard, dirty, ragged, and with a bunch of rat traps dangling on his chest. The peddler asked for permission to stay. The master blacksmith nodded a haughty consent, that means in a very proud manner, as if he was doing a favor to the peddler by making him stay there, without saying a word. Just then, the ironmaster, who owned the Ramstore iron mill, came into the forge on one of the nightly rounds of inspection.